Hello there. You gotta love it, don't you? Just did a whole Facebook Live and my freaking volume wasn't working. So this one's going to be much shorter. Look, today I'm talking about, are you feeling numb? Terrible feeling if you are. You can often feel quite robotic, shut down, feel like you're only sort of half living, and it can be quite uncomfortable for the people around you. So, look, I get this. Back in 1987, on this day, so the 4th of April 1987, I looked like I wasn't numb, but I was. And so that's 37 years ago, I hopped on an aeroplane and I was on a working holiday to England, going to find my roots, going to find out who I am. Ran out of money and stayed in Australia, bless. So beautiful. I don't regret any of that. But through these 37 years, I have done a huge amount of investigation and work around what does numbing mean? Why am I like that? I'm no longer numb, and I work with people who want to change that, who want better mental health, who want better well-being, who want emotional health. So where do you begin? Well, I think the first thing is to actually recognise that that is what is happening for you. Another way that I put it is, are you living from the head up? Because the ideal is to also live in the body and, to feel. And when we feel, we have emotions. So sometimes we can have crutches. And what I mean by not those physical crutches that you get, at the hospital, but crutches in life so that you don't have to feel. And crutches can look like what? Alcohol, porn, Netflix, shopping, working. There's many different crutches. So I suppose it's really having a conversation with yourself. What is your crutch that keeps you numb? A big one is working. I do see that a lot, and also alcohol. So that's the first place. Just be honest with yourself. And what crutch do I have that keeps me being numb and keeps me in this pattern of being shut down and not being fully present and fully living and fully alive? So that's the first place. Secondly, are you living in a fantasy? Are you living in a dreamland? And what I mean by that, are you living with perhaps the potential of what you want someone to be? So if you're in a relationship, you're living in the potential of how you'd like them to be. You're living and hoping and dreaming and wishing. And I suppose you've got to sort of ask yourself, well, how's that working for you? Recognising that you may do this is really helpful. Hello, Steve. Marlo, this is take 2. First one didn't freaking work, so good to see you. I'm talking about living in a dreamland and living in a fantasy and in the potential. I can't tell you the amount of people who say, look, when he stops working, or when she stops nagging, or when he stops drinking, or when she stops going to her mum's house every second day and spending so much time away from the home, or, look, I'm just using examples. But when we live in a dreamland, or we live in not reality, or we live in the potential or the hope, this is going to keep you in your crutch. Because it's actually getting real with yourself. And look, I know firsthand, I have found it quite hard to live in reality because growing up, I spent a lot of time in dreamland, in my head. So I really do get this. So that's the first. Second thing is to be honest with yourself and check in with are you living in reality? Are you living in a dreamland? Are you wishing and hoping? Because the key with all of this is having the arms and legs and moving them in the value, in direction of what is of value to you. Living and hoping and wishing and praying inside your freaking head isn't going to change a thing. So for your mental health, for your emotional health, you've actually got to move your body in the direction that is of value to you. And it's being honest with yourself. All of this is about being honest with yourself. And the third place I want to go to is authenticity. You know, in my 40s, I did a lot of marriage therapy, which I still do now. But I remember feeling so out of integrity. I was not being authentic in that I was a marriage therapist, but my own marriage was in trouble and I didn't know how or where to go with that. You know, I'm out of that now. I'm happy, I'm healthy, and I'm in a really good place. But looking back, again, I wasn't coming from the authentic me. And I mean, that's the key with any of this, is being really, really honest with yourself. So I hope this has been helpful. Come back to, okay, what are my crutches? I know that I've got to blah, 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 blah. It's about being honest with yourself. Gabor Mate, he's world renowned in addictions, crutches, and it's all around trauma. So that's the first place to look at. And secondly, are you living in a fantasy land? Are you hoping and dreaming and wishing that it will be different? And what are you doing to actually begin changing that? And the last is, how authentic are you being? Is your inside world quite different to your outside world? And look, if any of this speaks to you, I actually offer coaching, which you can do online, as well as all my other services. So you can just check them out on Power of Change or Helen Harrison. But anyway, I'm going to love you and leave you. And you know what? The power of change is within you. See ya.